In my previous example for completing a square, I showed you how to turn a quadratic expression that has just 1x squared plus some other stuff into this format, x plus something squared plus some number at the end. But in this example, I'm going to have something in front of the x squared. So how do I complete the square for that? Well, it's going to turn into basically the same thing as before, except for it's going to have a number in front of the bracket. So let's show you how to do that. One thing you should know before we even start is that I'm going to ignore the number at the end, leave it around, lurking around on the outside until it's added back into the answer to give the final answer over there. So that's roughly what we're going to do. Now this minus 2, or basically the number in front of the x squared, is always going to be factorized out to one side so that it can start to look like this. So you take the minus 2 and you're going to factorize it. You're just going to factorize the first two bits because we're ignoring the last bit, like I said. So this bit factorizes to this with the minus 2, which is the number in front of x squared. Whatever the number in front of x squared is always the common factor, so you always put it on the outside of the bracket like that, and so it factorizes like this. So minus 2x squared minus 20 factorizes to minus 2 brackets x squared plus 10x, and then you got that plus 47 still hanging around on the outside. And then you complete the square for x squared plus 10x. So I'm expecting you can complete the square for expressions that have just 1x squared. So just to reiterate that from that last example, what you do is you take half of the number in front of x, so that makes it 5, and you put it into a bracket like this, x plus 5 squared, and you should know that x plus 5 squared, you should know how to square out a bracket basically, becomes x squared plus 10x plus 25. So I want to complete the square for x squared plus 10x, and so far I've got x squared plus 10x plus 25, so I take away 25, so it makes it back to x squared plus 10x. So basically x squared plus 10x is equal to this expression inside these squarey brackets. So x plus 5 all squared minus 25 is the same as x squared plus 10x. So the minus 2 is still on the outside, the plus 47 is still lurking around on the outside over there as well, and so what we just do now is multiply and simplify, and we get the answer. So minus 2 times this stuff, well, that's just minus 2 times that, and minus 2 times minus 25 is 50. So we now add on that 47 that's been waiting on the outside for a bit, and 50 plus 47 is 97, and this stuff stays the same, and we have basically turned this into this format. A number on the outside of the bracket, x plus something squared, and some number on the end.